Well, today I thought I might share with you an old hunting story that I've had in my mind for many years. I used to hunt with a good friend of mine, Martin Bird Dog Jackson, and some of you may know him. He's a great young man, or getting older like me, I guess a little bit. I don't know if he could be classified as young or not, but we used to go hunting and we'd load up and go down to Eutaw, Alabama. Now, Eutaw is spelled Eutaw, I believe. It's down in South Alabama and a little bit, and we used to love to go deer hunting, hunt a lot on the weekends and during holidays and stuff like that, when we could. And this was when I was quite a bit younger, and got down there one time, and we always hunted with dogs. And what we'd do with those dogs would be somebody would turn those dogs loose in an area of the woods, and they would flush the deer out, and we put hunters along the road or in a clearing spot or somewhere, where they might travel to, running away from them dogs, and you could get a shot at a deer, and it was a good way to move the deer. It worked real well, and the dogs were of high value because some of them were good and some of them weren't. You always kept the good ones, and I was going to tell you about something that happened to me in particular one time hunting down there. I didn't know the area very well because we just visited there occasionally, and uh, got down there one time, and it was getting a little bit late in the day, and they gathered us all up and put us in the back of pickup trucks. I got bees flying all over the place. Excuse me for that. And they put me out. We was running along through there, and every once in a while they'd let a hunter out. There's about 5, 6, or 7 of us on a truck, and kind of spread us out along an area there. And I got out and stood my ground and stood there and waited and heard the dogs running. Never saw a deer one. I mean, I didn't see anything at all, and kept my eyes peeled. And it started getting pretty dusky dark. And like I said, I was there by myself. I was carrying a 30-06 with 2 clips. I had one in the gun and one in my pocket, and still got that gun. It's a good gun, Remington, I think 742 or something like that. And sitting there waiting, it started getting dark, and I thought, doggone it, I believe that they have forgot about me and left me out here and gone past me or done something. And I started getting anxious about it, and I was in unfamiliar territory, so I thought, well, looks to me like I'm going to have to walk out of this place, and just go try to find, where our base camp, which I wasn't sure where that was at, but, down in Eutaw. So I started walking out of there, and kind of getting in a hurry because it's looking a little bit rainy, in the skies. And I thought, well, doggone, I'm not wanting to spend the night out here in the middle of the rain. And they probably just would forget about me, just leave me out there and laugh about it. But I started walking out through there, and I come up on a gas line, and I walked down that gas line so far and then turned around. I thought, well, I'm going the wrong way. I don't see nothing or anything. I shouldn't say nothing, but I couldn't see anything, that way. So I just turned around and come back across the other way. And I tell you, I was getting a little antsy then. I thought, well, it's getting dark fast. I can barely see in front of me. Didn't have a flashlight one. Had that rifle. And I'll be honest with you now, I was nervous enough about that situation that if somebody would have jumped out of the woods, I'd have probably bared down with them with that gun. I don't think probably wouldn't have shot him, but I was a little bit anxious about being in the woods there by myself and not knowing where I was. So I just kept on going. Finally, I saw a light, a security light or street light off in the distance. I thought, well, doggone, if I can just walk towards it and be real careful, don't twist my leg and fall off in a hole or something like that. If I can just walk towards it, maybe I can find somebody that I can get up with that can get me back to the main road and get me back to where I'm supposed to be. So I started walking towards that security light and getting closer and closer. And I was watching for dogs and anything else that might attack me. And come up on that door. It's an old house off in the woods, and I knocked on that door, and I could hear somebody in the house, but they wouldn't come to the door, and I don't blame them a bit. I wouldn't have come either if I'd looked out there and seen somebody, dressed in old clothes and hunting clothes and carrying a gun with them. I wouldn't have went to the door. I think they told me just to go on, and I did. I thought, well, they may be gonna shoot me from inside the house. I don't know, but I just went on and I followed the road out and got on the main road and come up on a restaurant. And when I think about this later on and think about the situation I was in, here I come, and I'm walking in there with a rifle strung across my shoulder and scared half to death and not knowing where I was at or anything else. And I walk in that place and ask them if I can use their phone, and they probably thought, well, what kind of nut is this guy, that come up here like this? But they let me use their phone. I started calling them. Wasn't sure who to call, but this is before cell phone, folks. This is how long ago it's been. And I finally got up with somebody that knew of the people we were hunting with, and sent somebody down there to pick me up, and they come finally and got me, and I got in the truck and they headed back, and they said, well, we knew somebody was missing. We wasn't sure who it was, and got back to the hunting camp, and they were just sitting around laughing about it. I mean, they thought it was funny. I was lost. I didn't think it was funny. I was half scared to death, but ended up, what I was going to tell you was, ended up later on that night, it come a doggone good rain, and I mean, it rained good, and I thought to myself, boy, I sure am thankful that I got out of there, because I could have spent the night and had a pretty miserable night off there hunting like that. But that's just one of my adventures. I find, it wasn't long after that I quit going down there hunting. I was taking up really too much time. I thought, well, I'm devoting too much to this and going down there hunting. I need to be going to church on Sunday, and instead of going off like that. I do miss I miss the hunting with the people and the guys. There was a lot of camaraderie there, and made a lot of friendships, and it was really a good time in my life that I enjoyed doing that with them. And killing deer was one thing, but being off with a bunch of buddies and friends, and especially Martin, it was special to me, no doubt about it. But if you ever go to Eutaw, Alabama, be careful where you go. You get lost down there, and that's not Eutaw, the state. That's Eutaw, Alabama. God bless you, my friends. I hope you're having a great day. This is one of my favorite times of the year, is the fall time, and things start cooling down a little bit, and the leaves start falling. It just seems, and right now we've got hummingbirds that are just eating us out of house and home, but they're getting ready for their migration, and the good Lord put it into them to know when it's time to leave, and they know when to leave. You have a great day. Hope you enjoy this, by the way.